Hello and welcome to 5 Minutes with Sean, maybe 10. So this week we're going to be talking about being your own boss, and I'm going to show that to you or talk to you about that in two different ways. I'm going to talk to you about it from actually running your own business and kind of what I've experienced as a small business owner, and then how I tie that back in to the sales side of life, and more importantly in my world, obviously selling cars, and how I think that the two are intertwined in a really cool way, and that if running your own business isn't meant for you, selling cars very well may be. And over the time we're hanging out here, next couple minutes, I'm going to jump in and really explain how I feel about that. So it starts with this, man. Lately, for whatever reason, I've been just around more people, and I hear all the time from people, what do you do? Great, yeah, I run my own business. Oh, really? Yeah, I was thinking about doing that, and if you can do it, right? It's like, so if I can do it, I don't know how to take that. I don't know if that's some sort of an insult, if it's a backhanded compliment. If it's like an inspirational story, because, I didn't go to college, and if, this guy can do it, so can you type thing. I have no idea. But let me reassure anyone who's thinking about it, this is not easy, running your own business. And I follow a lot of people on LinkedIn, and I watch people really discuss sort of the struggles and what they go through and how they do it and what drives them and motivates them to do it. And again, on the same side, I watch a lot of people on LinkedIn who are in the sales arena, mainly automotive, and they talk about it in similar ways about the passion that drives them. And there's some parallels that I've always noticed and thought about. But being the boss, honestly, again, being the manager of a dealership is one thing. Running your business, being responsible for other people within it, whether that's 2 or 20, is full of anxiety. And again, similar to what it was like to sell cars, right? That anxiety of the month in, month out. This is ongoing. This is something that you feel every single day, all the time. And it's not that it overwhelms you or that you get, oh my gosh, how will I handle tomorrow with having to pay the bills? It's just something that's always constantly there. I think if you're being conscious of what you're doing and trying to run an actual business, because there's also a difference between running your own business and having your own practice, if you will, right? So someone who, like my mom has owned or been a part of hair salons that she's owned my entire life. But it's her single cell, right, within that. So she runs that business. She's not responsible for the income or scheduling or anything of those other people, right? She's an independent operator of her own. So independent operators, I guess, is an even better way to say that. And so to me, when you're an independent operator, someone who just exists in their cell, there's simplicity to that. And I think sales is that, honestly, without the headache. But from there, you have to really think about, if I'm going to have a business, that means other people, right? Again, whether it's 2 or 20, it is other people. And that becomes a burden in itself, but I think people have to understand and realize where they want to grow and how they want to grow to really decide how large of a business that they want. Now, I've run into plenty of people who start businesses because they are good or great at a specific craft, okay? So whether that's making cheese or, whatever. I mean, anything independent, massages, nail polish, whatever it is, right? Whatever you can drive through independently and make your own. When you do that, I think you find that there's the job you're great at, right? And then there's the running the business side of it. Whether that's client acquisition, billing and invoicing, even collection of payments, whatever, all of the other ancillary parts that come with the job, right? So you're great at X. Let's just for the sake of saying, let's say you're great at massage and you're opening a massage business, right? You're like, all right, I'm going to get a bunch of masseuses inside of my business and I'm going to make this happen. If I did that, I have to now worry about filling other people's schedules, advertising, like I said, acquisition, billing, rent. There are all these other things that come with it. The problem that most people run into is that they're still only great at being massage therapists. The rest of this is lost on them. And what it ends up in is people who take on mountains of debt. mainly in the small business world, and then they're just crushed by it. I've got a friend of mine who has a couple friend of his who they opened a creamery right out west, and they're like, look, we love making cheese, we love being a part of cheese, but we're gonna have a retail space, we're gonna do all this other stuff. He would ask them routinely, like, okay, cool, so how are you going and what are you going to sell? Because you just like making cheese and you really don't have a bunch of cheeses. And they kind of sat there and they looked at him like, well, what does that matter, right? And so they had already thought ahead to the retail space and how cute and chic and all these other things it could be. And oh my God, this is going to be wonderful and adorable in our little downtown area. But we didn't think about how we were going to get customers there or what we were going to sell them when we did get them there. And these are just super common mistakes that I find all the time from people who are starting or trying to get into a business. So what I say to people when asked about this, once we get past the whole, hey, if you can do it, I can do it, is I tell people, you got to have a plan, not just an idea. Because trust me when I tell you, I have had thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of ideas. I've actually only had 2 businesses that I've run on my own independently outside of working in a dealership or working for someone else. So that's what I mean when I say I had a plan, because before I started those businesses, I had a specific plan on how I was going to approach them. I am extremely methodical in how I go about doing things. People say all the time, Sean, you're a risk taker. No, well, yes, the word risk does show up, but before it, you'll find a gigantic word called calculated. I will calculate things as far down the funnel as I can, all the way to the bottom of the risk factor, so that I understand exactly where success for me lies, right? So that's when I have a plan, that's the next step past idea. But for me, once you get there, and I think a lot of people, again, I've seen it time and time again in our industry over the years, is this idea that you're really great at service X. And then you feel this crazy need to add services Y, Z, and A. The problem is, again, you're not really great at Y, Z, and A service-wise, and X is still where the money is made. So I recommend that you think big as your head can see, or the sky and the stars, however you view that. Think as big as you can, but act and operate as small as you can. Look, I will never be the guy responsible for helping the unemployment number, because I believe in running extremely efficient, which means with less people possible, so that more people get a piece of the pie, everyone can make more money and really have a real work day. Not to mention, you can't hide if you run lean and efficient. And I ran dealerships the same way, and the same rules apply. If you believe that you need 20 salespeople to sell 200 cars because each guy will sell 10, you are wasting twice as much money as you have to, because you should hire 10 and make them sell 20. And I get it, 20 car guys don't exist, blah, blah, blah. All right, fine. Then meet me in the middle. My point is, you don't have to run as fat as you do. And again, I'm sorry, I know, God, it's like against everything people want to hear, job creation, etc. But I'm not going to be that guy, okay? Because I'm going to operate extremely lean. That's going to lead to better profits for all that are involved, which I think, at least in my point, is the goal. Because, right here, watch this. I just said to you that money and profits are the goal, but I'm going to back that up. This is going to sound probably a little wild to you. I'm going to back that up by telling you that money cannot be the guide. Now, again, don't get me wrong. This is not a charity that we run here. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm and anyone who knows me, who's known me a long time, probably hears me say that and thinks he's such a liar. He would never say that. No, I'm being honest. You can't make your decisions based in money, because it's probably about paying back money or dealing in debt, or how could we make all of this money. If you do that, you will lose sight of your goal and focus, which I know is to make money, but it's probably to be independent. It is probably to have a quality of life. It is probably to experience more than that. So that is what I want you to consider when you think about leaving kind of your job to jump off the cliff and start over. Let's consider a few other things. So make sure you guys tune in next week, because we're going to jump into the second half of this. I'm going to tie in a little bit more of the sales side, and I'm going to talk more about work-life balance and how that all comes together when you run a small business versus when you're in the sales side. So thank you guys very much for listening this week. This is obviously a passion, fun-filled topic. You can reach me, as always, 262-278-0157. Shout out to my man, Bill Schaumburg, who texts the line all the time. Love you. Thanks for hanging out there. You can email me, Sean, S-E-A-N, at carbizdonebetter.com. You can find me active on LinkedIn. You can find me and my company on Twitter and Facebook, but again, not where I'm active, not what I am at. So any questions, concerns, feedback, we love to hear it. Throw it our way. Otherwise, tune in next week and we'll jump in a little further. Thanks.